One day when he turned black belt, he's bigger than me. He tried to talk back to me. We got to the argue and he tapped in my chest. I tied him behind the furniture, put his neck around his neck. He was like this to stay there. Said, remember one thing, I'm young enough to kick your ass and old enough to pay the bills.
Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome to another episode of Talking to Earthlings with Lunakye, where we explore the humanism within all of us. Today, we welcome our fearless guest, Morteza Alborzi. He's a martial arts master, the former head coach for the U.S. and Iranian national karate teams, and he's had over 1,000 international championships, including world champion. He's also a political advocate and is currently in financial services. Thank you so much for being here today, Morteza.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Tell me about your childhood.
Raising in a family with 6 kids, everyone athletic, everyone in somehow member of the different national team. Never give up attitude from the childhood. All my family were like leaders, and I have to learn from everyone a little bit. So the result, I had a great childhood, fully athletes in many different sports. And finally, influence of my brother took me to martial arts.
What do you mean by your family, all your family were leaders?
All of them were in the different sports, and captain of the basketball team, captain of the volleyball team, captain of the ping pong team, one of a wrestler, one of a weightlifter. I have no time to be lazy.
What is a prominent memory that you have from your childhood that shaped you as a human being today?
I remember one day I came home with a head broken and blood bleeding from the back of my head. And the first reaction I got from all my brothers was like, don't ever come back home and get beaten. Go back and beat them. I was like, okay, nobody support me. Go do it yourself. And I remember, I never forget that.
What ideals or ideologies are most important to you?
To me, building a next generation leaders. I'm leading many agents in my business and over 17,000 martial arts students in my life, 52 years in martial arts. And I see today world needs more leaders. And we're not training and educating our kids in a leadership manner. Kids are raising by the babysitter and TVs instead of real mom and dad on top of them. And even when was the last time mom and dad grab a book, read, so kids follow them? They're all becoming TV and movie and game follower, and we need more leaders. We need to work on our education system, because our education system in this country, it just designed to get you to job. You go 4 years to school, pay $100,000, $200,000 for a loan, and go get a job, $36,000, $38,000 a year, and stay in a club 40 hours work for 40 years. When you get retired, if you're working for government, get 40% of something that you were not even happy on 100% of it. Go back to 100 years ago. 95% of the country were business owners, 5% were working for them. Now it's opposite, because they got comfortable. And this has to change.
You speak about leaders. What is your definition of a leader?
My definition of a leader is do it first, being in the front. Don't talk. I don't read the book from the people writing book. I read the book from the people they did it. If you did it, now I'll follow you, I'll read your book. Unfortunately, many people in this country, they're talking. They're not doing it themselves. It's not practical because they didn't experience it in action.
What compelled you to get into martial arts?
I raised in an area that you gotta protect yourself. No matter what, you have to protect yourself. But I love that as a philosophy because it's the self-development, it's the self-betterment. It makes you a better person. When you're confident enough that you could kick but few people, you don't have to prove it. If you're not, then you go grab a gun and try to scare them and make a show. If you're confident enough that you're following the path of martial arts, which is not kicking and punching, is being a better human, is leading, and is passing the value to next generation so they become a better person. I see traditional martial arts these days is only practiced in few countries. People going a couple of years to martial arts, they call themselves masters without any real breaking bone or real time and energy spending and transferring those values to next generation.
What do martial arts mean to you?
Martial arts to me means self-respect, self-discipline, self-esteem, care about everybody. passing values to everybody without expectation to anything back. Building a next generation leaders. That's what martial arts means.
Do you believe that everyone should go through martial arts, or do you believe that it's for a select few?
Martial arts has to be a subject starting from elementary. If we want to change this country or any country and have the next generation coming up as a leaders, we got to start disciplining them and give them a values of martial arts from the elementary. Look at it in Japan. One of the subjects in elementary, in junior high, is martial arts. The minimum self-defense is at least benefit that somebody attack you, you can protect yourself or your children. This is something that I think should be mandatory, not because of the aspects of fighting of it, aspects of the value delivery.
You mentioned that discipline comes from martial arts, specifically. However, can you attain discipline in ways other than martial arts?
Exactly. We have to understand there are two kinds of discipline. One is the discipline that the cop is behind you and you're watching the mirror and you're driving the way you should. You're scared to get a ticket. But martial arts teaches you self-discipline. You do not dump the trash down when nobody watching you. You instinct those values in you. You don't need somebody on top of you to tell you what to do. You do it yourself. That's called self-discipline. Martial arts doesn't teach discipline, teach self-discipline. That's the value.
So again, back to my question, is there a way other than martial arts? Is there an alternative to learning that self-discipline?
Of course, you have it, mom and dad, entrepreneur, teaches you, look, wake up early, go get some exercise done, read book and this, and start your day, have value, and end of the day, calculate to see, were you positive today? Or you're negative, or if you were positive, you were better than yesterday or not. It's all about progressive, going to next step, not becoming excellent, becoming perfect. There is no such thing as perfection. It's just us feeling that I'm better than yesterday in all aspects of life, what I did today.
So it's more about a mentality or a mindset than anything, you would say?
Absolutely, absolutely. Even when you kick and punch at the dojo, at the training, you're measuring, is my punch faster than yesterday? Is my kick better than yesterday, right? It's just progressive.
So I'm under the impression that you, at one point, were a political prisoner in Iran. Can you tell us about that?
I'm not sure if everybody want to hear that, because some of them are X-rated. But yes, when some people in West decided to take the Shah of Iran out and bring that unwanted revolution to Iran, the result of that for almost 45 years, last 45 years, we have 8 wars, 43 million refugees, about 3 million, 5 million kids killed, and 3 million disabled. 8 countries got destroyed because of some people maybe wanted cheaper oil or selling arms, which I think they feel guilty for the rest of their life for what they did to that region. Otherwise, there was no terrorist in that region. Everybody were living in a peace. And somewhere people decided in a political word that, hey, enough is enough. We need to have authority over there. The result is a bunch of people stand against the regime because we did know that if fanatics and extremes comes in any religion, doesn't matter, what would happen to the people. So I was one of the people that I was fighting with the regime. I ended up to one of the, I can't say not one of the scariest prison in the world that not many people walk out of it alive. Especially there are 2 personal cells there. It's called 350 and 325. Those are the places that when they want to take the people for assassination, and a night before, after all the tortures, when I say torture, that means we could see your spine bones from the neck to your butt, or all your meat of your food is gone by a phone cable. They beat you to death. So you talk. Then they dump your half-alive body on the cell. So 2 hours, 3 hours later, they take you to assassination. I was in that cell by mistake, 3 months, 20 days. And I was sleeping in 8 inches of dry blood.
Your blood?
No, people's that they're dropping there. And because they didn't know what they want from me, because I was not involved in any group or anything, they just arrest me because thousands of my students got arrested as a political basically activist, and then they said, so you're the leader, you teach them, let's go. First, I was not involved in anything. Then as I was in and I was hearing from these political prisoners like what is going on, I actually become the activist in a jail. So then they find out that they need to, push me to the point that I talk. They couldn't beat me maybe because I was the captain of a national team. I kicked somebody in a jail and the guy went to the coma. They were scared to get close to me. Like they said, you got to get him somewhere else to talk. They took me 4 times in the assassination line and they shot everyone except me. And the last one I remember was like I was up to here to snow with slippers and barefoot. My eyes was closed, my hands was locked in the back, and my head was to the post. And they shot everyone. And the cold made me to like fall asleep. So the walls for each cells, the general yards for each cells, were about 32 to 35 feet. And sun would land in there around 11 to 12 noon. When sun landed on me, I got a little bit warm. I noticed like, no, I'm not dead. I thought I'm dead. I'm on the other world. I couldn't feel anything anymore because of the cold. That was the time that I went off and I started screaming and yelling and cussing at them like, you guys cannot shoot me. Why are you keep doing this to me? So I don't know, because of a connection, because of whatever happened, I got transferred from that cell to different cell, public cell, and so on. So, but a year and a half later, when they come to the prison and they read the list, they call the list of the people, and they were supposed to go in 3 different areas. When they call you and say, take all your stuff with you, you're either going for an assassination, or you're going to get transferred to different jail, or you're going to get free. And we knew who's in our cell and what they did. So nobody in our cell was the people that they would get free. Every of them were like 30 years jail or life jail or death or something. But a couple of days before, they said, okay, you're going for 4 times assassination and 144 years. And I started laughing like, what the heck is that? Could you give me the last one first? Or say, they're like, you're joking with me? I was like, whatever. Doesn't matter. You want to kill people, and doesn't matter what they did. So when they called me with all the names, I was like, okay, let's give everything. I had some money, give it away, some
What do you
food.
mean? Sorry to interrupt you. When they called you by all the names?
Yeah, they came to the jail after New Year's holiday. They read some list, some names. They read the name, all of them, and they closed the list. He walked away. He came back and said, oh, by the way, Morteza Alborzi. Everybody looked like, wait a minute, he didn't see your name at the bottom? How come he closed it, he left, he came back? When he came back and called my name, I gave away my money, I gave away my extra stuff, and put a blindfold on my head and hands on the shoulder of the front one, and start walking in that line. When they said go to the bus, we knew that we were going for assassination, because bus takes us over the hill. And I was sitting in a bus as the last person, which I heard a very familiar noise. That was the good guy at the beginning of revolution. That was the manager for our personal cell. And he knew my brother. He was an employee of my brother. He told the driver, what is he doing here? What is Morteza doing here? I was like, I'm going to get killed anyway. I put my blindfold up and I see that guy. And the driver said, I don't know, brother so-and-so gave me this list. He said, give me that. He got a list. He noticed all the lists got printed. Mine is with the handwriting. He's like, who gave you this list? He said, Brother Akbar. He called him. He said, I'm assuming he has to go to the other bus, right? He's like, I don't know if something got mistaken. I look at the guy. That was the guy I kicked him like a year and a half ago, and he went to coma. He put my name from the free, people that they're supposed to get to that bus to go free to the bus that was supposed to go to the basically assassination. The guy told him, like, do you want one of those kicks again? He slapped him in the face, right? He said, take him. Take him. I was like, at least we find one honest person in this the whole thing. So I got off the bus that I was like few minutes away to go to assassination, to back to the bus that they free us somewhere in a desert, say, go find your home. But like, we don't have money. I don't care. Go find it. That was even the way that they were making people go free.
So if that hadn't happened, would you not be here today?
I wouldn't be here. Nobody knew it. No, I didn't have any connection with my family, relatives outside. There were no visitation, nothing, year and a half. They called my family like few times. Okay, we'll let you know when do you come to get the body. And they're like, mom, dad, sister, whatever, they go like crazy when you hear like your son is going to get assassinated. They're gonna call you in a couple of days to come get the body. And I'm nobody in front of the people they got really tortured. They used to take me to the main branches for torturing, and since they hadn't have excuse to beat me, they didn't need it, but I was like head of the captain of national team. They would tell us, take your blind off and watch. Imagine 9 hours you have to watch people getting tortured, getting whacked. That's even worse than hitting yourself, right? You're watching this. And then 110 days, every day. Nighttime, go to your cell, they dumped a half-dead body on you. 2, 3 of them to take them 3 a.m., 4 a.m. for assassination. Kids in this country, they got spoiled. People, they got spoiled. They don't understand the value for this freedom. That's why they're attacking the stores and breaking into, and they think this is a freedom. This is how you change government, or how you can get your freedom back, or some political idea you have to prove. That's not the right way. This is gonna end up to that regime. There is a way communicate with everything, not breaking the stores, not going to the people's business and, a riot and stuff like that. I believe media here should show some of those movies, that what happened to those kind of countries such as Venezuela or Iran or something like that. So people sit home. They stop attacking each other for the opposite opinion. I'm not allowed to hit you because you're saying something against me. We could talk, we're human. It's 2000th century, it's not 300 years ago. That's what people need to know. So after getting off the jail, I was 7 years prohibited to leave the country. Finally, I ran out of the country. Thank God, United States is my second home.
You fled?
Yeah.
How did you do that?
I tried 3 times to go over the mountain. People, they arrest me. You believe it or not, they came to me and like, master, sorry, you gotta go back. They were somehow knew me, student of my students, or somewhat that they were the securities of the regime. But they had respect for me not to back me to the jail. They said, go back home, like that. And the 4th time, finally, I made some plan. I sold my house, another house, and I borrowed about $1 million, gave it to one of their own government people, and government people issued an official passport for me, took me to the airport, government people, their own corrupt regime, and put me in an airplane. So I came to Germany, and I was there with my sister a few months, and then I moved to here as a political asylum. But this is my second home. I'm here more than the time that I spend in my country. And I think I paid my due with helping US team to go from one of the lowest rank, go to one of the highest rank in the world, for the time being that I was a head coach. I was one of the world referee for United States national team. I think I trained over about 10,000 students during the 34 years I trained martial arts here. And funny thing is, about 1,400 of my students are doctors and attorneys at Beverly Hills. One of the most difficult area that you become a famous doctor, because there are so many good doctors there, or famous attorney, because of the values we instill on those kids. At one time, I was at the Beverly Hills High School, we noticed 14 consecutive years, students presidents of Beverly Hills High School was one of my black belts. Back to back. We're like dominate national championship for the time that we were there.
What are your thoughts on empathy?
Would you open a little bit? What do you mean by that?
Do you believe in tough love as a way to help people grow?
Yes, in my opinion, tough love should be there, but not with a physical act, but with discipline. And I have so many, more than 15, 20,000 students constantly from my country, from here, that are in touch with me, and they appreciate for the time that I've been tough with them.
So where do you draw the line between empathy and tough love?
That is one of the hardest question anyone can answer, because case by case is different. My dad used to tell all of us from childhood, good friend is not only the one that is having fun with you or laugh with you, sometimes makes you cry. That's the moment it pinch you. You go home and you're thinking about, you know what? Yeah, after all, what he said is real. I gotta improve these things in myself. When you go extra mile and you push people for the limit, later on they're gonna appreciate you. That if it wasn't because of you, I wouldn't do that. You did, you raised my standard, that's why I could become successful in so and so in my life.
Do you always remember the root of where you came from? And let me elaborate on that question. I was listening to a podcast last night, and this guy was talking about this very successful business owner who had started 136 schools throughout the nation, teaching people how to start businesses, and had done all this stuff with his life. You know, very charismatic guy, very great personality, and the guy who was whose podcast it was having a conversation with this guy over the phone, and the guy was saying, I'm depressed about my life because I don't feel like I've done as much as my roommate has. His roommate was Elon Musk. So do you always remember the root of where you came from? Because I think that as humans, it's so easy as we climb the ladder to start comparing ourselves to other people that are also on our level and forget how much progress we've actually made.
Absolutely, absolutely. Here's the thing. Not only I talk my own mother language, one of my pages in Facebook is only Farsi. I do it as a political against the whatever activities going on in Iran. You know, I came from the birth of civilization on earth. You calling here 200 years building landmark. We don't call it 2,000 years building in our country landmark yet. If you look at the 10 empire in the world, in the history of world, the biggest at one time, out of every 2 people walking on earth, one of them was walking on the land of Persia. So we're very proud of our culture and our whatever we did. I don't want people judge Iran with the regime right now. This is not what we are. This is not who we are. This is unfortunately, with all due respect, West political decision. When we go back, where Al Qaeda come from? Where they train? By CIA. Where ISIS come from? When you look at them, you're like, wait a minute, these are the group, US trained them as a wrong foreign policy to go against political reason, and then they got too strong, they couldn't handle it themselves. They're like, you gave us some money, you gave us a weapon, now we go against yourself. When you go back, you're like, what the heck US doing other side? Look at the last 40 war US had it. Which one was defending the California? It's all other side of the world. Why? What do you have your nose other side of the world? Benefit, money, oil, this, that.
Do you cry?
Of course, everybody cry. If you don't cry, you don't have emotion. I cried last night for the 8 years old kid in Iran needed surgery, and his dad, last month, they cut his stomach open. The check didn't go through for the hospital, and they said, leave. He said, my stomach is open, leave. What do you mean leave? One of the martial artists in Iran, one of my students, called all of us. And we got immediately in 24 hours, we gathered money together, we sent it there to help them. I was crying for that dad because where in the world they cut your stomach and you don't have money to say, get up and leave? Put it together at the sew it back? No, leave. Kidding me?
So you believe that crying is of utility to us as human beings?
Absolutely. You don't cry, I don't believe you have any emotion. It's not about tough martial arts master. When it comes, you gotta let your emotion go, but not for fear. Even that one is not guilty. Somebody is scared and they cry, it's okay.
What human quality most notably connects us all?
Love for being human. Love for feeling that you're not separate than me, regardless of your skin, your origin, language, your religion, or nothing. We have to care about each other as a human. Love is above and beyond any religion. As Rumi said, if you have love in you, I'm in your religion, whatever it is.
I read that you have something called a PHP agency. I don't know what that means. Can you describe that?
PHP agency, People Helping People, is the organization, is a financial marketing company that we decided to separate ourselves from the industry. Let's say, for example, Merrill Lynch, Morgan Stanley kind of company never knock on the door of 90% of America less than $100,000 income. PHP decided to sit with every ordinary family and educate them about money. We don't care who we are helping. We don't care if they opening the account with us or not. We sit with as many as family possible to make sure if, for example, breadwinners die, that family has a protection. If they go to the retirement, they don't struggle. Because Social Security is facing exhaustion. I'm so proud that PHP mission is aligned with what I did all my life. Helping next generation, this is again same, aligned with that, aligned mission. And in PHP, we have one philosophy. Think about the mission, not a commission.
I have one final question for you, and that's the most important question related to talking to Earthlings, and that is, what does it mean to be human?
Going back to love. Care about others, not to think about your own pocket only. Developing yourself, moving forward, have a hard work as the menu of your everyday work, and have a goal.
So, Morteza Alborzi, I really want to thank you for being here today.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Your life story is very, very interesting. Your
Appreciate for having
ideologies
me.
are very, very interesting.
Thanks.
I appreciate you being a part of talking to Earthlings and being vulnerable and sharing with us. And just once again, thank you for being here.
Thank you so much. I'm talking from my heart.
Yeah, no,
There's
I like
no
it.
acting or anything, just that's my opinion, pure opinion.
So once we shut off all these cameras, am I going to get the opportunity to go fight you in the parking lot?
Let's go. Anytime.
Hey guys, thanks for watching that episode. As a reminder, we've created Talking to Earthlings to have raw and honest conversation with one another in an effort to unite human beings who may not agree ideologically, but who can be inspired by one another's vulnerabilities. By watching our show, you are helping us accomplish our goal of changing the world, one conversation at a time. Make sure to follow us on socials to stay updated. Thanks.